Okay, finish up the one you're on and we're going to start going over the first one. So the first thing I want to do is actually just pull out the names of the language feature where we can get off the YouTubing. Thank you very much. Take your phones out as well, please. Okay, so some names can rise to walk many paths in many directions. Name of the feature? Ooh, I forgot my microphone. Right, so the name of the first feature is names could walk. Personification. Names could walk. Okay. Jessups, Arthurs, Haslams and Miltons, name of that feature. Sam. Yeah. Thanks for that was. Yeah, listing of the names. So of the names. Okay. Were born to walk only the beaten dolly path to the shadowed place. Two features this potentially could be. What is one of them to the shadowed place? Anyone want to hazard a guess? Okay, so we've got the metaphor of shadowed place as the shadowed place. And it is also, as I was saying to the group earlier down here, a biblical allusion. So, when I say biblical allusion, that's making reference to something well known. What is the shadowed place in the Bible? I think it's a prayer. My Catholicism is a bit old and rusty now. So, yea, that I walk through the valley of death or something like that. Anyway, so we've got this idea about the shadowed place. As I said to this group here as well, we've got this word beaten. In one sense, a beaten path is a well-worn path. What it's helpful to do often with authors is sub out that keyword and put in a synonym and see if I've changed the essence or meaning. So if I subbed out beaten from dolly path and instead put were born to walk only the well-trod dolly path to the shadowed place, I've lost something essential from that sentence. So he's used this word beaten in two senses. He's used it as beaten well-worn, but beaten how else? Yeah, physical, what else? What other ideas evoking? Yeah, it's evoking this idea about violence. So, let me get my spelling right. It's a double entendre. Beaten. Beaten to mean violence, beaten to mean well-worn. Well-worn. Okay. Now, the shadowed place, live and die in keeping with those bloodline customs feasts held. Right, now we want to tie some of these back to this idea. Why are the characters given these four names? Why are they called Jessups, Arthurs, Haslams and Miltons? Hands up so I can pick one at a time. Why? One at a time. Right, go. Why are they typical Ozarks names? When did these names begin? It is. You're right. They did mention that as well in the book, but where else have these names come from? Who was Haslam? He was the old Nakaways, who was the prophet. So these would be names that started at that time. So just like in religions today, say in Islam, they use a lot of the same names because those were the names that were around when the Prophet Muhammad was around. So you've got Muhammad as a really common name, Ahmed or Zaid, those sorts of names. So same idea up here. You've got these names, they would have come from back then, and that ties into this idea that you kind of revere or you respect your past and your history. So you pay homage to your history through the names, and like Andrea said, it's also helpful for confusing the law. How is it mental? How is home mental in this sense? What happens to these people? Hmm? They are fighting for survival. Re fought directly against having the boys name these names. Why? Yeah, exactly. So they're not going to follow the same beaten path. Basically trapped in this kind of mental idea of home. You can't escape it then. So that ties us back to this idea that it's a mental location. Right, the next one. Like I said, there's not necessarily going to be any one particular language feature that you can call it. These ideas about wiffle birds, lupus and bin buffer, are they real words? No. So what could we call them? Yeah. Yeah. Gibberish. They're not jargon, but yeah, I'll call them nonsense words. It's kind of like Lewis Carroll's Jabberwocky. So we've got the nonsense words, like the wiffle birds. Galoopas. And the Bing buffer. Just as a complete aside, who had imaginary things that were after them as a child that they were told by their parents or older brothers and sisters? Santa was after you. We all had Santa spying on us. Is this what you were told as a kid? That's interesting. That's a good one. Who else? I'm going to turn this off because it's completely irrelevant.